Hello, fellow Zuko chess enthusiasts. Today, we will discuss a chess match. In this game, we're playing against Jero7676, a player from Latvia. Jero has the white pieces, and Zuko has the black pieces. Jero starts with pawn to b3, which is countered by Zuko with pawn to g6. The opening chosen by Jero is known as the Nimzowitsch-Larsen attack. This opening begins with the move 1, b3, and is named after two renowned grandmasters, Aron Nimzowitsch and Bent Larsen, who frequently used it in their games. Returning to the game, White follows up with bishop to b2, threatening Black's rook on h8. Black responds with pawn to f6, blocking the dark-squared bishop's attack. Jero continues to develop his position with pawn to e3, and Black replies with bishop to g2. Jero plays light-squared bishop to c4, and Black advances pawn to e5. White develops his knight to e2, and Black counters with knight to c6. White castles short to safeguard his king, while Black positions his queen on e7. White pushes pawn to d4, inviting an exchange of pawns, but Black opts for pawn to d6, aiming to free the light-squared bishop. White's knight moves to a3, opening a path for an attack. Black responds with bishop to d7. White's knight advances to b5, threatening Black's pawn on c7. A potentially dangerous move if not addressed, as it could lead to a check on the king and a simultaneous threat to the rook. Black wisely retreats the queen to d8. White becomes aggressive, capturing the pawn on e5. Black counters by taking the pawn with his own. White spots an opportunity for checkmate on f7, starting by placing his queen on d5, supported by the bishop on c4. Black counters with knight to h6, protecting the f7 square from the white queen's check. White increases the pressure by pushing pawn to f4, seeking an exchange of pawns to open up the f-file for his rook and target the weak side of Black's king. Black ignores the pawn exchange, instead placing his rook on f8 to protect the f7 square and guard against the white rook's attack on the f-file. White captures the pawn on e5. But Black disregards this attack and pushes pawn to a6, driving away the white knight. White sacrifices his rook on f8 by capturing Black's rook, which is recaptured by Black's bishop. The white knight retreats to d4, escaping the pawn's threat. Black takes the free pawn on e5, simultaneously attacking the bishop on c4. Black has calculated the threat from the bishop on f7, which has been troublesome, and plans to neutralize it. White's queen captures the pawn on b7, a move that proves ineffective as it loses tempo in the ongoing threat on f7. White should have sought support from another piece to continue pressuring Black's king. Black continues with bishop to e7. White pushes pawn to f4, which, upon analysis by Zuko Chess, is also considered an ineffective move. Black capitalizes by capturing the bishop on c4 with the knight. White recaptures with the pawn on c4, allowing Black to unleash a more significant attack by moving knight to g4. White tries to regain control of the center by positioning the queen on d5, but her attack has already weakened and poses no real threat. Black responds with knight to e3, threatening the white queen and simultaneously attacking the pawn protecting the king on g2. White desperately checks the Black king with queen to g8, but Black easily blocks it with bishop to f8. White's queen captures the pawn on g7, but Black's queen shifts to g5, posing a serious threat. If not properly countered, this could lead to checkmate. Can you, fellow Zuko chess enthusiasts, find the solution? Let's see White's next move. White advances the pawn to g3, hoping to reinforce the defense with support from the h2 pawn and the knight on e2. Black's knight retreats to g4, giving the queen space to launch an attack on e3. A critical mistake occurs as Black fails to notice the potential check from the white queen and instead pushes pawn to h4, trying to drive the queen away. Did you spot the correct move for Black? I'll give you 10 seconds to find it. Yes, the correct move should have been placing the bishop on c1 to threaten the queen and simultaneously prevent the relentless checks from black's queen. White's mistake proves costly, as black needs only 3 moves to checkmate. Black executes the plan perfectly with queen to e3, checking the white king. The white king moves to g2. Black's queen goes to f2 for another check. The white king moves to h3, and it's checkmate with black's queen on h2. From this game, we can learn a valuable lesson in chess. Focus your attack on the weakest point of the enemy king, directing all your pieces towards that weak spot while keeping an eye on your own king's defense. Attacking while defending is a sound strategy in chess. Also, stay calm during rapid games, as a single fatal mistake can lead to severe punishment from your opponent. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you in the next video.